everyone, and welcome back to Pop Cult X, episode 145. I'm Danny, and along with Gabriel, we're here to be your guide through another thrilling episode of pop culture news and hot takes and whatnot. And today, we're diving into a couple of topics that I think are pretty on the nail for pop culture stuff. And one of them, of course, will be Lady Gaga's Chromatica Ball concert film, and we'll explore its performances and really, I'll just say it right now, her artistic brilliance. And since we are recording this on Memorial Day weekend, we would like to take a moment to honor the brave men and women who've made the ultimate sacrifice for our country and reflect on how this weekend, traditionally marks the start of the summer box office season, which is important because the next thing we're going to talk about is the dwindling box office numbers for blockbuster movies. So, Gabe, that sets the table. But before we get into that, what's been going on with you?
Well, ironically, I wanted to go to the movies, but I decided to go kayaking instead. So we went kayaking in Coronado.
Nice.
And that's how we spent Memorial Day today, is out in nature, trying to be active. So I thought about that. I thought about, this being the first weekend of summer with the blockbusters, and Furiosa had just been released, and I wanted to go watch that. But kind of weighing out, like, should we go out and be active, or should we go and sit in a theater? Being active won out, but I feel a little bit bad because I haven't been to the movies in such a long time. It seems like that I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't get a chance to go to the movies this weekend.
Oh, well, there's always during the week and next weekend, right?
Yeah.
So, but that we'll get into that topic in a little bit. But I guess we could tackle it now if you'd like. We can reverse the order.
Yeah.
It's really, I think one of the things that really bothers me most about box office numbers and when people put expectations and they don't meet up to the return is that people automatically assume that's the quality of the movie, right? So if it didn't do good box office numbers, or if it didn't get what they expected it to, whoever those that expect the numbers, then, the movie sucked or the movie was bad. And that's not always true.
Yeah, I the most recent kind of box office disappointment that I can kind of think of is um Madam Web, and how people were so disappointed with the box office numbers and thought that it was a huge disaster. I just recently watched it on Netflix, and I didn't think it was all that bad. I thought it was entertaining. It wasn't my favorite spider related movie, but it wasn't, horrible. It wasn't horrific. And it's been performing really well on streaming services. So it's having its own level of success online. So I think that people need to rethink how they view success, whether it be on streaming services or if it's in the theater box office, because I think we can't really measure movies the way we used to anymore.
I agree.
People enjoy watching them now at home versus going to the movie theater and watching them there. That movie being one of the examples that I can think of where people are really enjoying it online and streaming it in really large numbers, but they didn't go out and watch it in the theaters.
And that's part of the whole reason, I think, for all this is that cultural shift of people. They see, okay, should I go spend the money on it in the theater or wait a couple weeks and watch it at home on streaming? And I think that I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on Deadpool 3, but I think that movie is gonna be the complete opposite. I think that movie is going to just bring home a lot of box office returns and then make all of our other points that we're trying to make about streaming platforms kind of moot, because it's going to be, then it's just, okay, maybe it's the quality of the movie or what's attracting the customers to the theater as opposed to waiting for it at home.
Well, I think that when I think of what motivates me to get off my ass and go to the movie theater to go actually watch something, is that it has to be sort of like an event for me now. Like, it has to be a Deadpool and Wolverine, or one of the last ones that I saw was Ghostbusters, when they had the reunited cast.
Yeah.
Things that I'm really looking forward to seeing that are sort of a spectacle, that are blockbusters. Definitely thinking of like summer blockbusters when I'm thinking about what type of movies make me go. I'm not so much like I used to be a really big like independent movie fan and would go to the movie theater, but now I just wait for those to be streaming online and
Hmm.
watching them come from my home because it's not like I really need to see it in IMAX.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
and those big blockbusters, you kind of want to experience it on the big screen, um, versus some other movies, you can kind of experience them at home, and it's just as entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, we come from, I think, two different viewpoints. I prefer at home because I hate crowds.
Yeah,
So it's that really has this, I guess the whole streaming early has been a real boon for me because I get to watch them sooner at home. I'll pay the 17, $18, whatever, to watch them at home 3 weeks after they're released in the box office because that's how much it would have cost me anyways to go to the movie theater.
right.
Um, so I don't mind. I'm able to press pause when I want, and I don't need the full sound, especially with my sound bar, like the whole technology at home with the Dolby Atmos and whatever. It really gives that movie like quality. So I mean, can't compare them, of course, but I don't feel like I'm missing out by not going to the theater.
Yeah, yeah, same.
So I guess it just comes down to, like you said, events. Like
Yeah,
Deadpool 3 will be an event. Any other like franchise films, think of a new Star Wars movie or something like that where the fan base is just built in and large.
right.
They're gonna
So,
get those
will you
numbers.
go to the theater to go see Deadpool, or
Yeah,
are you going to watch it? Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the theater and watch that one.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's when I do plan to go to the theater and bust out of my quote unquote comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is an event. It really is. It's been, I guess, since a long time build up between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, where
Mm,
they've always, their little squabbles online, head back and forth, Deadpool, Wolverine. So now it's finally coming to fruition. So it's
yeah,
something that I want to really see in the theater.
yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
And
Um,
they're predicting that it's going to be huge with the pre-sale tickets that
mhm.
have already been purchased. They're saying that it's going to be pretty massive.
Yeah, yeah, I think it will be. And you mentioned Furiosa,
Yeah.
and that's the Mad Max Saga, which is interesting because I liked Mad Max Fury Road a lot,
Mhm.
and I thought it was really well done. And I'm looking forward to seeing this movie at home.
Yeah.
But it's disappointing to see that the numbers aren't as well, or I guess as good as people expected them to be. But I guess the conditions like we spoke about aren't right for it to be that way.
Yeah. When I think of that movie, I think that there are people who are fans of it, but they're not like dying to see a sequel to that film.
Yeah,
This was, I believe this is a prequel, right?
yeah.
So, it's sort of like people are at least for me, I'm like halfway on board. Like I really want to watch it, but it's not like a oh my god, I have to go see it this weekend. I have
Mhm.
to see it the second that it gets released. Uh, I am looking forward to watching it, but I'm not like dying to go watch it, and it's not like a must watch kind of a
Yeah.
event.
Yeah, another movie that came out recently that had similar numbers below expectations was The Fall Guy with
Yeah,
Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, which was disappointing. I really want to see that movie. I really do. I just don't know if I'm going to go to the theater to watch it. I was thinking about going to the theater to watch it just to help boost the numbers there, but
yeah,
those studios are making lots of money. They don't need my extra dollars.
yeah,
So I'll just watch it at home. But it's one of those films that is more of an original IP as opposed to a fan franchise or a sequel, prequel, whatever. So I think studios um releasing them a couple weeks after their box office release is adding to the downfall of the numbers.
yeah,
So if it didn't get released like this weekend, I'd have no choice but to go to the theater to watch it. So it maybe theaters or studios should think twice about how soon they release movies to streaming platforms.
yeah,
It's like when we were younger, when movies came out in the theater, we'd have to wait 6 months or so before they came out in DVD or VHS, right? So maybe that's what we need to go back to get normalize the box office numbers.
yeah, yeah. Delay it a lot more.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yep. I agree.
Um, but one film that did not need any delay because it did not go to a theater, although it would be kind of cool to see in a theater, was the Lady Gaga's Chromatical Ball film concert film experience. Did you have a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I watched it the night that it came out.
Yeah.
That is something that I was super excited to watch. I don't know if you know, but I was actually at the concert, the
Oh,
filming
you
of the
were.
yeah, so I
Nice.
was at Dodger Stadium. So it's my favorite concert that I've ever been to. It was amazing. Um, I wanted to see if it translated to film, and it did. A lot of the excitement and or the performances really did translate onto to the screen. Um, there are some things that didn't quite translate. Like there were so many explosions, like fire explosions in the concert. It was like being at a heavy metal concert. Like there was so many explosions of fire being like thrown around that unless you were there, like you could feel the heat. Like it doesn't, I mean, it looked cool on screen,
Mhm.
but if you were there, like you could feel the fire and the
Yeah.
heat and the explosion. But it was such a good concert. I mean, her talent was 100% on display.
Hmm.
Voice sounded amazing, choreography was amazing, art direction was nearly perfect. I can't say enough about it. I mean, it was just such a good concert. I really enjoyed watching on HBO Max. I hope everyone else sort of enjoyed it that wasn't able to go to the concert and experience the Chromatica Ball for themselves because
Hmm.
it was such a good concert live that I'm glad that she recorded it. I kind of have when we were there, she didn't announce that they were recording it for a tour movie. They just we saw the cameras, we thought that they were filming, and then I saw her commercial for. She has like a commercial for some sort of pharmaceutical commercial that has footage from that concert, and I thought, oh man, that sucks. Like she just filmed
For a
footage for that
commercial.
commercial and I sort of got disappointed. I'm like, they're never going to release that. And then they announced that the Chromatica Ball is going to come out. I'm like, oh, thank God, because I really wanted to like relive it
That's
again.
cool.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yes, I did watch it. Before I get into my thoughts, I think it's really cool that you got to see it both live
Yeah.
and the film because, like you said, you got to relive those moments. So I think
Yeah.
that's really cool that they finally released it and you're able to see that.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed the film. I I've seen a lot of concert films and they're just, sometimes you just watch them, they're like, they're okay, they're all right. But
Yeah.
this one I could feel the narrative and the emotion that she was putting out through her choreography, the set design, the costume design, the color choices.
Yeah.
And it was really moving. And the highlight to me was when she was alone at the piano
Hmm.
and she just commanded the 53,000 people there because there was no other spectacles going around except for that fog machine. That
Yeah.
was putting out a lot of fog, but it was just her, and that's what for me where she really stands out
Yeah.
is when you strip away everything else and her voice and her um just her ability to command a crowd just was on full force there. I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah. I have to agree that that was a very powerful moment when she was, sort of on the piano singing to the crowd of 54,000 people.
Hmm.
Um, I remember getting chills when I was there when she was singing and she was speaking about being yourself and if you
Yeah.
don't know who you are,
Hmm.
you will one day. And she's like, if people when people ask me when I didn't know, I just said I was born that way. I remember getting chills
Yeah.
there when she said it. Um, she's such a great advocate, such a great ally, great leader. Um, she's iconic. Her performance is just iconic,
Yeah.
and but uh, I think that for standout performances, I think were some of the heavily choreographed numbers that she did. Just to see her sing live and do the choreography
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like the
That's true.
costumes that she did,
Hmm.
and the intensity in her eyes. There's moments
Oh
when
my.
her eyes just like
Yeah.
piercing, and she's like, "Put your hands up," and I remember her being there and just jumping up and having my hands up and jumping up and down and feeling the energy with all of those people and with her, and it was just an amazing moment. Um, it just it's such a cool thing when you have an artist that is giving so much to the audience and the audience is giving back and
Yeah.
you can feel that energy. That's how that was for me. Like it was just a very intense moment, a night of really just a spectacle. I mean, it was just amazing.
Mhm.
Uh, and the real big news is that at the end of the concert, for those that haven't seen it, they sort of flashed a
Real
little,
fast. Yep.
yeah, super fast. I had to rewind it, and I made sure that I was watching, reading what I thought I read. But a new album should be coming out fairly soon. It doesn't say when, but Lady Gaga 7 or
Yep.
LG 7 should be coming out soon. And there was a little bit of a snippet of like new music that was being played. So that's exciting.
Mhm.
I definitely am looking forward to that. A lot of people are saying that she's back to her roots of like being kind of the crazy performer that she was before with like the fashion and all of the antics. And I don't think it has ever left because I follow her fairly closely, and I can't remember when she has not been uniquely her.
Mhm.
Even when she did the jazz stuff with Tony Bennett or did A Star Is Born, um, she was very still unique and very Gaga. So I can't really say that she's ever deviated from that artistic persona. But I am glad to see her being a weirdo and wearing pieces of car and dressing in just really cool artistic fashion and bringing that to the audience. So I'm really stoked. I was so happy to watch the concert, and then the cherry on top was the sneak preview of her new album.
Yeah. 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 And you said her eyes. My sister was in town, and she was watching it with me, and I
Yeah,
commented to her, "Wow, look at her eyes. They're just so intense and so piercing." I was just mesmerized by that. I was like, "Wow." And
yeah,
then the other thing that really stood out to me and I thought was really cool, and they showed it when they panned out to a wide angle, was I guess you guys were given like watches or something with LED lights on it, and how the art design or light design guy, whatever, controlled the waves of that. I'm not sure if you could see that when you were in the stadium or not, but watching that, it must have been really cool.
yeah. It was really cool. Being in the audience that night was really interesting because there was so many people that were dressed up, that were fans of hers, that were dressed up as
Mhm.
Gaga, were dressed up as interpretations of of her persona,
Yeah,
like different iterations of
for
her
different
look
eras.
throughout her
Yeah,
eras. Yeah. There were famous people there that I saw. There were it was young people, older people, people with their kids, people that were out of their mind. It was just really crazy experience. It was really fun.
yeah. And one last thing I noticed about the concert, and it kind of surprised me because she did a bunch of collaborations on the album with
Yeah.
Elton John, Ariana Grande, Blackpink, that she was the only vocalist.
Mhm.
And that kind of, I don't want to say it was bad, but it was kind of cool that she just was able to command the whole entire almost 2 hour long concert by herself. And
Yeah.
especially, like you said, after her dancing and doing that choreography, for her to have that vocal control and that stamina to be able to belt out, especially at the end, those songs, I was like, my goodness, the amount of endurance she has to do that, especially because she
Yeah,
didn't
and
have anyone else with her.
I heard that she got COVID twice and performed with COVID
Wow.
during her tour because she didn't want to disappoint her fans and cancel.
Wow.
So that's kind of like what kind of person and entertainer she is.
Hmm.
Um, we kind of thought that there might be a special guest because it's LA, it's
Yeah.
Hollywood. We I was thinking that put perhaps Ariana Grande was going to be there, or I didn't think Elton John would be, but I thought maybe she might bring out some special guests. But I wasn't disappointed that there wasn't, just
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she brought everything that she could, and it was just
Hmm.
so amazing. The little vignettes of like movies in between the songs. I think were directed by Nick Knight, the photographer that she works with, and they were amazing.
Yeah, the
There wasn't a
little
moment where like you weren't captivated by what was going on because of what was on screen and then what was on stage and then what was on screen, what was on stage. So it was from the very beginning to the end. It was just it was amazing. It was
yeah.
crazy. It was I was tired at the end of the concert just from dancing and jumping up and down. And it was at Dodger Stadium, and we walked down the hill um to go get Chinese food down at the bottom of the hill there. And I remember just kind of being exhausted because of what kind of paces she was putting us through. But it was amazing.
There's also the adrenaline rush, right? Wearing
Yeah.
off. But yeah, that must have been amazing. Yeah. Were you looking for yourself on the camera when or on
Oh, of
the
course.
film?
We were like pausing it, looking to, we knew where we were at seating wise.
Uh-huh.
We were sort of in the, when you looked at the stage, there was like, I think like four quadrants of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
little areas. We were in like one particular quadrant, and, we would pause it and then we're like, oh, that where that flashes, that's sort of where we're at. But it never really focused on where we were at. I just can't imagine how happy probably the people who are up on screen during
Mhm.
during the film that they show like singing or like dancing
Or
along
crying along. Yeah.
or cry. Yeah,
Yeah.
like how amazing that is that you're like immortalized at one of your like favorite artists'
Absolutely.
movies at the concert and you're reliving it and you're still there. Of like, how cool is that?
Yeah. I completely agree. I think I might watch it again tonight. Why not?
Yeah, nice.
Everyone out there, if you've seen the Lady Gaga Chromatica Ball concert film, let us know in the comments what your thoughts were. I'd like to hear your guys' takes on it and what part you liked the most.
Yeah.
Really fun to hear. Well, besides that, have anything else you've been up to? Any comic book store shopping? Any other movies, TV shows you've been watching?
Yeah, I've been of course buying some comic books. I've been trying to like buy key issues as opposed to like just random new issues. So I got X-Men number 186 and 198, which is the life death um story by Chris Claremont, which is focuses on Forge and Storm. So if you watch
Oh,
X-Men
kind of like X-Men.
97, that it's that story arc that they
Okay.
have where loses her powers, and she Forge sort of helps her come to grips with that. But what one thing that is I'm trying to go through my comics here that I've been reading that's really interesting is the Blood Hunt story arc in Marvel. It has like the Avengers and other superheroes fighting vampires, which is really interesting. Like I'm a really big fan of superheroes fighting vampires. It's just kind of a natural I don't know, it's something that just like makes sense when you
Yeah.
think about it. And it's really cool. Like I have the first two issues. It's very good so far. It has like Scarlet Witch, Thor, Spider-Man, Blade, a lot of like really cool characters, superheroes, fighting vampires. And so it's really interesting, really cool. That's what I'm sort of into right now is old key issues and then of what's new right now, Blood Hunt, and then of course still keeping my eyes open for like cool variant covers by Peach Momoko or Maria Wolf. So
Well,
that's what I've been kind of at the comic book store doing. What about you?
well, I've got a cool. I saw this online, and I happened to be at a comic book store and I found it there. It's the World's Finest.
Nice.
I thought that cover by Jeff DeCall, I think his name is. Looks
Yeah.
really cool. He's doing a new Werewolf at Night variant cover as well. That looks really cool. Elsa Bloodstone. Um, the Blood Hunt one though, I heard someone talk about that, and I was kind of curious about it. Is it an actual series called Blood Hunt, or is it spread out throughout the whole universe?
So it's the blood. It has two issues so far of Blood Hunt, and then there's also it goes into other issues. So like you can go buy like other comic books that have the Blood
Blood Hunt.
Hunt
Okay, okay,
story arc kind of feed into that story arc. But I'm just like buying the actual
okay.
uh Blood Hunt series by itself.
I'll have to go get that because that did sound interesting. Yeah, vampires versus superheroes. I know DC did a run of that recently too, so it sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, I have the DC versus vampires too, which is really interesting. I love vampires. Like I think that vampires are just always really cool. And
Hmm.
then when you pair them up with superheroes, it's like how would Scarlet Witch fight a vampire, or how would Doctor Strange fight a vampire?
Right.
Uh, it's just kind of really interesting and cool. So I definitely had to check it out, and I recommend it to other people. It's really good.
Cool. I think we should do our next episode all about vampires then, and
Nice.
vampires and pop culture and its whole journey. That'd be kind of fun because we did zombies once, right? So let's do
Yeah.
vampires.
All right.
Everyone
Sounds
out there,
good.
look out for our vampire episode coming out soon.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I've been buying at the store. Of course, get my Daredevils and whatnot. I've just been really, what's the right word for it? Not overwhelmed, but it's just like there's sometimes it feels like there's just too many different comics out there, and I don't know which one I want to focus what money I have set aside for comic books on. So it's
Yeah.
like you said, you're picking up key issues or whatnot, or focus on one series. So I think I just need to focus on that. It's just and not just be spread too thin because
Yeah.
there is so much out there.
I definitely like I'm going through that same phase because I went through a phase of just buying everything,
Hmm.
and now I have like an abundance of comic books that I can't really store. I just everywhere, and a lot of them are stuff that I thought that I was really interested in, and I read them, and they're good, but they're not like great. That like I
Yeah,
never
yeah.
necessarily want to keep them forever. So I'm probably going to be donating some fairly soon. But um, I have focused now on key issues of like story arcs that I really like,
Hmm.
trade paperbacks of stories that I really like, and then variant covers that just kind of catch my eye
Yeah.
by artists that like I like to follow. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. But it's really hard because you go to the comic book store and you see like 10 like number ones and you're like, oh, that looks really interesting. Where's this story gonna go? Like that character looks really cool. And then before you know it, you have like 15 number ones, and then you're like forced to like, well, then I have to buy number two because I bought number one. And then before you know it, you're like into like issue number seven. And then you're like, crap, I'm like buying all these issues and I didn't really even like this character, or I didn't really like this. But you're sort of stuck. So yeah, it's kind of hard to not get sucked into that cycle.
Yeah. Just have to go cold turkey and just cut it off, right? Just stop.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So that's what I've been doing. Yeah, comic book wise.
Yeah.
I finished up watching season 3 of Resident Alien, which
Oh,
is
nice.
such a fun show. I know we've talked about it before, but it is
I
so
didn't know
much
it had so
fun.
many seasons.
Yeah, they just I think season 3 came out this year, so I finished watching it on I think it was on Peacock Network or yeah I think Peacock. It's just such a fun show. I hope they get renewed for season 4. I'm really curious to see where they're going with that. They really have taken the amount of people who know about aliens up a notch, so
Yeah.
should be interesting.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to watch that I haven't yet is South Park takes on the whole Ozempic like diet
Okay.
trend, and Cartman goes on Ozempic and loses a whole bunch of weight. So I have to watch it just because like that's such a funny plot. Because
Yeah.
right now, obviously, Ozempic and like that, like fad diets are really taking Hollywood by storm. You see, like so many people have like transformed themselves. Who knows whether it's Ozempic or if it's um, other ways that,
Right.
healthier ways that they've done it. But I just thought that was hilarious. South Park has a very, has a talent when it comes to satirizing trends in pop culture, and that definitely is one of them right now. The other thing that sort of has been captivating in a bad way, I guess, is the downfall of Puff Daddy or P.
Oh,
Diddy or
mm-hmm.
Diddler, or I don't know what you want to call him. Uh, it unfortunately, we all know about the FBI raid on his
Hmm.
compound. All these rumors sort of swirling about what he has done, and We know that Cassie had a lawsuit that they settled like almost immediately. And people were speculating about what happened, and then CNN released video footage
Right. The
of
video
him
footage. Yeah.
attacking his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a
Hmm.
hotel lobby. Really horrific, just very brutal. Um, Him then releasing a apology video, which is, I think, a pop culture sort of trend of celebrities recording themselves saying they're sorry about X, Y, and Z. Um, Whether or not it's successful or not, I think depends on the particular sin that they committed.
Hmm.
I'm not particularly buying this apology from him because um, he, when the whole Cassie rumor started, I think that he alleged that everything was false and that the
Right.
truth
Right.
would come to
Right.
light.
Hmm.
And then now he's saying, I'm really sorry. I felt bad about what I did, even when it was happening. Well, if you felt bad about it back then,
Why
you
did you
wouldn't
say?
lie about it and then make her look like a liar
Yeah.
and make everyone think that she's an opportunist. You would apologize, and you still haven't apologized publicly to her. Um, I think he's over. I mean, I don't say that lightly. Like I don't take joy in the fact that um someone who is an icon of like our generation sort of hip hop era is sort of their career is done. There's definitely a lot of good music that came out of his production, Notorious B.I.G., you know, his own personal music, Little Kim,
Maybe.
just
Yeah.
that whole era. But I definitely don't want to support someone who had that sort of toxic behavior and who was abusive to someone. And I don't think there's I don't think there's a coming back from that.
Right.
Uh, and it's sort of like R. Kelly, where it's like you've tainted yourself, and the music is tainted, and it's not something that I want to really listen to or revisit. I just kind of want to let it die, and move forward without their music.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how do you plan on like processing him or his music out of your life? I mean, so his music, but that doesn't mean like you said, Lil Kim or Biggie. You can still hear their music, right? I mean, how do you
Right.
separate that?
Like, I mean, I definitely am not going to not listen to Notorious B.I.G. because some of the music was produced by Puff Daddy. So but anything that he has done, um, on his own,
Hmm.
like I think that is now sort of tainted. Just like a little quick story, I remember being in New York recently, and there was a big crowd in Times Square, and we sort of like, oh, let's get in line. Like, what's going on? There's what's going to
Like
happen?
lemmings.
And Puff Daddy came out, and they're like, and we sort of just kind of walked away. So I was never really a big Puff Daddy fan,
Okay.
so it's not a huge sacrifice for me. But I just don't want to see him now. I don't,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
let's say never, like never say never, but I don't want to see someone that has lived that sort of lifestyle and has committed that sort of atrocities and then be jovial and happy, singing and rapping. I don't want to see it. It's just I don't want to be anything. I don't want to be a part of it. Which is not to say that he can't like go get counseling, that he can't atone for his sins and try to overcome his past.
Hmm.
I think that there is the ability to do that. But it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of rebuilding of his image
Yeah.
and his branding, and there's going to have to be like work put into it. It's not just going to be like an apology video and then he comes out with a new single.
Absolutely. You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And that goes for anyone who wants a second chance, right? We just not going to give them that. They have to deserve it and earn it.
You have to earn it.
Yeah. So,
Along the same lines, I don't know if you saw the news, but Nicki Minaj got arrested, I think, in Amsterdam on some drug charges. I don't really know the specifics, but I think she was filming her actual arrest on her phone and asking the police, like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Like, I can't just go with you. Kind of like scared about what's going on. And I believe that it was related to drugs,
Okay.
which is crazy to me that someone of that stature, that has that much fame, that you would be carrying drugs on you.
Right,
Like,
that's true. Right. You have somebody for that.
right? Like, I
Yeah.
would just assume that you have an assistant that does that. If not an assistant, like someone whose specific job is to bring you weed or whatever your drug of choice is, to
That's
bring it to
true.
you.
Yeah.
And if they get busted, you bail them out of jail, but you're not the one
Hmm.
that gets busted.
Hmm.
It's just really weird to me that like she's the one carrying it. Um, I don't think it's the kind of crime that is going to make her lose any fans.
No.
It goes along with her
Might
image.
gain more fans from it.
Yeah, she might. Yeah, exactly. So it's not going to hurt her career, or I don't know what if she's still in jail or if she got released or what happened, but it a lot of like kind of weird stuff going on right now in hip hop, like especially with like the Kendrick Lamar and Drake
Yeah.
being feud, and the allegations that are sort of being slung back and forth between the two. Um, Weird time for music. Like it just kind of like, let's just focus on the music and
Hmm.
listen to some really cool stuff. And not think of like the drama that's associated with it.
So we'll just bring it back to Lady Gaga to save us with LG7. Come out
Yeah,
sooner than later.
I went on. I There's some. Let me see if I can pull it up because there was an artist that I'm really feeling their single right now. I don't know if you've heard it. Let me see if I can find it. Artemis, I like the way you kiss me. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's sort of
I've
like a
heard of Artemis. Haven't heard that song yet, though.
yeah, it's like a dance poppy like it's sort of like a dark dance song.
Okay.
Really cool video. Really cool artist. I guess he's like a producer, DJ, vocalist out of the UK, and really cool. Like I was listening to that. There's another artist that I was listening to by the name of Moreau, who covered a Cure song and sort of got some notoriety from that, but has some really cool sort of gothy um grunge alternative music.
Oh,
I
cool.
don't really know if
Okay.
that's the right way to describe it, but definitely sort of has like a goth vibe. So it's I don't know, maybe that's just me right now.
Well, it's funny you say The Cure because that's what I was listening to the past 2 nights. Just The
Yeah.
Cure, their whole discography, and just they're such a great band.
Yeah, definitely check out that artist. It's Moreau, Mareaux.
Okay,
Uh,
I'll check them out.
oh wait, how did I spell it? Mareux. Yeah.
Moreau.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, really cool. He's had some really cool videos with some drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race. Gottmik is in one of their videos, and Violet Chachki is in another of their videos. And so really cool, interesting music videos. One takes place in a strip club, the other in like a seedy hotel. So there's definitely like a really cool vibe that he has. Very chill, like laid back, but like very moody and atmospheric music. So I recommend it to anyone that is like in that sort of mood right now.
I will definitely check it out because that's where my headspace has been. So sure.
Nice.
Thanks
Which
for
is
sharing
weird
that.
because it's like the official beginning of summer, but I'm like, I don't know, like I've been sort of emo in this moment, versus sunshiny, I think it's the in San Diego, they what do they call it? The May gray. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of gray right now and sort of
Okay.
overcast. So it kind of matches that. Hopefully once the sun comes out, then like the cheerful, happy music will come out.
What will be the song of the summer this year? I guess we'll have to stay tuned.
Yeah, I feel like it probably will be something that is sounds like Taylor Swift. Whenever I put on on the radio, everything sounds like Taylor Swift. It's
Speaking of,
either it is Taylor Swift or it sounds exactly like Taylor Swift.
there was
Uh,
some controversy around with her again, right? Didn't she have some beef with like, because I know Billie Eilish just released a new album, and
yeah,
like, didn't Taylor Swift do something that same day to kind of like dampen Billie Eilish's release numbers or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know what she did specifically to diminish the record sales. Um, Part of me, because I don't like Billie Eilish, part of me wants to say like all is fair in like music
True,
and
true.
form.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
it's sort of like, well, you promote your music, I'm still promoting my stuff. Like I'm not gonna like sabotage you, but at the same time, like I'm still gonna do my thing. If my thing overshadows your thing, that's on you. You
But
know?
she's known for doing that. I think she did something similar to like Olivia Rodrigo as well. And I think one other artist, when I was looking up some information to write like a blog post about it, and it's not her first time at that rodeo doing stuff like that. And it seems just kind of petty to me. Like, okay, you know what? You have this huge success. Why don't you want to see other people succeed?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's a competition. I mean, there's and I'm all for artists, especially female artists supporting female artists. But like I said, there is a part of me that's like, all is fair. Uh, if you're not sabotaging them, you
You're
know,
not trying your hardest.
yeah, you're doing your thing, and if it overshadows them, that's on you. Like,
Yeah.
really, like work your ass off and like create your own, your own pop culture moments, which she normally does a really good job of. I do have to give it to her because her music is so laid back and chill, but she's been able to capture the like attention of an audience, and she
Mhm.
has some like diehard fans. I just can't get into it because it's so soft and
Doesn't give you
whispery.
that payoff, right?
Yeah, it's like I want someone like I want her to belt out a song once, like just once, like just sing with like some intensity, um, and not just like that whisper that she does. It just kind of
Mhm.
it drives me crazy.
Yep, I can understand that. I mean, yeah, it's like one of those songs where you're hearing it and you think they're building to a crescendo, but they
Yeah,
never get there. And it's
yeah.
always just like, nope, sorry, next song.
Yeah, which like I'm not necessarily against people that have a really chill vibe. Like I just last night I was listening to Mazzy Star's first album,
Okay.
like from beginning to end, and it's so chill. Like, and they're very low key. Like
Yeah.
they're very low key. So I can get into that, but there's just something about Billy's deliver her vocal styling that just doesn't appeal to me. Which me, I'm not her target demographic. She's definitely not trying to get Gen X men that are 46. So she's not worried about it. It's definitely a different demographic, but I would just like to see her like come out with something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. But outside of that, I don't know. That's all I've been sort of my attention has been focused is on all the scandals in hip hop right now and watching reality TV. The GOAT. I'm still watching that. I talked about that on one of our previous
Hmm.
uh, podcasts, and still watching it. Still good. Still enjoyable. I was watching an episode of what do they call it? The Challenge on MTV with all the
Mm.
reality stars. There's something about like taking people from a bunch of different reality shows that just really appeals to me. It's like the Olympics of reality shows, and seeing people that normally you wouldn't see together like makes me like happy. And it sort of reminds me of like, do you remember when they used to have like Battle of the Stars,
Yeah.
where they would take people from different shows
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
would fight in different categories or different events. It's just really fun to see people that you wouldn't normally see battle it out.
Hmm. The closest thing I saw to watching something like that was the Special Forces.
Yeah.
Special Forces. But that was fun because they punished them. It was just grueling, and I get to see them hurt and sweat and cry and vomit and haha, you're not better than me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, yeah, that's all I've been up to as well. So I think unless you got anything else, that'll put a wrap on this episode.
Yeah, no other like recommendations from me. Like I've got the music recommendations and then comic book recommendations that I put out there. So if there's anyone that's listening that is interested in reading a comic book and then getting at us, or even like wanting to discuss it, if there's a particular comic book that they're following along with or reading that they would love to discuss, we're all about that. So shoot us an email and we'll definitely try to make that happen. Or if there's an artist that you're listening to that you think is really cool that we need to get on our podcast, please shoot us a line and let us know about it. But yeah, we would definitely love to be able to bring some people in. I'm going to be going to a convention fairly soon called I think it's called QCon, which is a comic book convention for like queer creators.
Oh,
So
cool.
it
Okay.
one of our previous guests will be there that worked on Blue Beetle.
Oh,
I'm
Josh.
Josh, yeah, Josh
Okay.
Trujillo. So Josh will be there. Cena Grace will be there, who's done like Archie, done all, I mean, a whole bunch of stuff. And some other cool, really cool people. So I'll be going to that in June and be reporting about it.
Very cool. Very
Anyone
cool.
wants to go, it's free. There's no charge to go. So it's a comic book convention that you can actually go for. That's not like an arm and a leg to get into. It's placed in Los Angeles. So anyone that's in that area, definitely look it up and check it out because it's going to be cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I look forward to hearing your report back on it. Maybe take your phone and like get some interviews with people there. We put them on the show.
Yeah, being like the roving reporter.
There you go. Very cool. Yeah, awesome. I look forward to hearing what you think of that.
All right, cool. Well, I think that's all we got for this week. So thank you everyone for tuning in, listening to us, watching us on YouTube. Please like and subscribe if you like what you saw or heard, and shoot us an email if you'd like a topic that you'd like to suggest. Otherwise, we will see you fairly soon with a new episode.
Yep. See you, everyone.